Good day, everyone. Hi, I'm Charmaine Acosta, and I will be discussing the January virtue of the month, humility. Here is a brief overview of my presentation. So let's begin. Humility is a very beautiful word. Humility comes from the Latin word humus, meaning earth or ground. This is why humility is often associated with the ground, like the saying, keep your feet on the ground no matter how successful you are. This is because humility is a virtue of modesty that comes from understanding our place in this world. It entails not taking our desires, successes, or failings too seriously. This virtue helps us avoid arrogance and pretentiousness. It reminds us that we are far from perfect and makes us aware of our limitations as humans and how we each have a role in the fate of humanity. Now for the next part, the spirit of service in our daily lives. Humility should be practiced wherever we go. I will be sharing some examples of how we can have this spirit of service at home, school, and society. At home, first we should help others in need. Humility is also acknowledging that we need help and how others also need our help. Second, we should be grateful. We should learn to be grateful to our parents, our siblings, our yayas, or our drivers. And we should never forget to say thank you, even for the little things that they have helped us. Humility is being grateful. Third is acknowledging and accepting our mistakes. At home, you might be scolded by your parents or your older siblings for doing something wrong. We should do our best to lower our pride and accept our mistakes. At school and society, first we should help others in need. Second, perform your duties as a student. We should also learn how to fulfill our tasks as students, since humility teaches us to carry our sufferings and tasks without showing anger and annoyance with our duties. Third, and lastly, we should be an active member of society. We should volunteer to help and serve in school activities like during outreach, Teachers' Day, and other school activities. Or we could also join clubs and organizations that would help society, like Red Cross Youth. Now for our role model. A role model is someone you look up to and aspire to be. They possess good qualities such as kind, talented, hardworking, and is a person that has done something great. Many times, people choose the successful, rich, and famous people as their role models. Some famous people and possible role models of the generation today are celebrities like Taylor Swift, the cast of Stranger Things, Jenna Ortega, and others, or great athletes like Evgenia and Simone and others. All of these people are amazing and good role models. However, I believe that Jesus is the best role model. Jesus is someone who knows you and cares about you, sacrificed for you, and an exemplary model of kindness and humility. Although Jesus was a king, he came into this world in poverty, and he was humble enough to be laid in a small manger. Jesus did not live in a castle or in a mansion. He grew up in a simple home. He is truly the best role model for humility. Jesus changed the world for the better. He performed miracles and taught the people many things, and he always served the people with a humble heart. Jesus also taught this virtue of humility to the people. Are you familiar with the Beatitudes? In order to remain humble, I believe it is summarized in the Beatitudes. So to remain humble, we need to be poor in spirit, know how to mourn, be meek, need to hunger and thirst for righteousness, be merciful, have a clean heart, be peacemakers, and be willing to be persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Now for the internal application of humility. First, we should be aware of our strengths and weaknesses. Socrates, a famous philosopher, once said, "To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom." And I think knowing thyself is also a key to humility, since we would be aware of our strengths and weaknesses. Strengths is what we should be grateful for, since we have talents and skills, and knowing our strengths enables us to know what we can and cannot do. However, even if we can do it, and it's our skill or talent, we should not always broadcast this to everyone, since it goes against the virtue of humility. and may sound like bragging. For example, some people may have the tendency to get excited and share the new skills they learned during summer, like, I know how to play golf, or like, in summer I got really good in playing the violin. I think that remaining humble is staying modest and not speaking about one's strengths and skills all the time, especially when not necessary. For weaknesses, we should accept our flaws and imperfections, and we should be aware of what we cannot do and accept our limitations. Second, we should think and speak less about ourselves. So we might have the tendency to get excited about having a new thing or being able to attend a famous person's concert or sharing your travels abroad and all that. But being humble is also learning to think and speak less about ourselves. We should learn to keep quiet and not brag so much about our new and expensive things or our cool and awesome experiences. We need to think before we speak and should try to avoid always mentioning ourselves in conversations with others. For example, when people are talking about how difficult the exam was, then you suddenly say na, but I found it easy, I even got perfect. Or when your friends are planning to have food delivery, then you immediately say, I don't want to eat that food, or I don't feel like eating that. If the tendency is that you tend to start a conversation about yourself or always say, I did this, I want this, then the tendency is you need to work on your humility. This does not mean, though, that you should not learn how to express yourself and share your thoughts and opinions about something. Humility requires balance. In our conversations with others, we should know when to stop talking about ourselves and allow others to talk. In conversations, we should do our best to incorporate the word you, like, how are you? Are you okay? You need help? And do our best to actually ask and encourage others to share their thoughts and opinions. Lastly, knowing how to listen. Instead of talking so much about yourself, being humble is learning how to listen to others. Finding time to just listen. Let people share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. Listening is not only a sign of humility, but it is also a sign of respect. I really like this quote by McGill. It says, one of the most sincere forms of respect is actually listening to what another has to say. External application of humility. This is the last section of the presentation, and it is very much similar to that of the spirit of service in our daily lives, which I previously discussed. But for this section, I want to give some tips on how we can practice and show humility externally. First is to treat others as equals, different yet equal. I think treating people with equality is treating everyone with equal respect and importance. For example, if we know how to smile and enthusiastically greet our friends in the morning, then we should do the same for our parents and our teachers. We should try to give the same quality of effort and respect towards people. But it is also important that we know that we are all unique and different from each other. Our classmates and friends have their own ways of greeting or starting a conversation, and we should respect that. Let's say, for example, we have a friend that likes to sleep or rest during her free time, so we should respect her and not wake her up just to talk to her. Second is to be kind. Just like the golden rule in the Gospel of Matthew, in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. Humility is being kind to others, even those that you may find rude, mean, or not deserving of kindness. These are my references. This is the last slide. Thank you and hope you learned something. Have a nice day!